All right, so the next lesson we're going to talk about how to use our calculators to solve our matrices. So these, again, came from the previous lesson. So right now, if you do not have these written down, I want you to pause the video and copy this matrix down. So what we're going to do next is we are actually going to enter in our matrix information into our calculator and have our calculator solve the problem for us by using that augmented matrix. So if you have a graphing calculator, go ahead and grab it and you can follow along. So to enter in a matrix, we are going to go to our matrix menu. So on the left side of our calculator, we should see the word matrix by the inverse key. So to get to it, I'm going to press second and then the inverse key. And then you can see I already have stuff in mine, which is fine. So we're just going to type right over it. So to enter in the matrix, we're going to arrow over to edit, and then we're going to press enter. Okay. So the top numbers here, this is the dimensions of our matrix. So on the previous one, we had a 3 by 4 matrix. So I'm just going to press 3 enter, 4 enter. And then that's going to bring us down to the matrix itself. So now I'm going to enter in the numbers in the matrix. So we're going to type our number and then press enter to add it, and your cursor is going to move across the rows. So our first number was -1, then -5, -5, 2, 4, -5, 4, 19, 1, 5, -1, and -20. Okay, so we just entered in all of our numbers. Make sure that if you have negative numbers that you're using the negative key at the bottom of the calculator and not the subtraction key. So once we have everything entered in, we're going to go back to our home screen. So second and then the mode key. If you have something there, please clear it to get rid of it. And then we're going to go back in and get our matrix operation. So back to our matrix menu. So second inverse key. And then we're going to arrow over to the math menu. And we're going to choose which one we want. So we want to arrow down to RREF. So this stands for row reduced echelon form. And what our calculator is going to do, it's going to go through solving like elimination. So that's a process that it's going to go through. And then we're just going to get the answer from it. Okay. So again, we're going to select that RREF. So enter. Okay, so again, this is our math operation, so now we have to tell it what to do it to. So back to our matrix menu one more time, so second inverse key, and then we're just selecting the matrix that we edited. So I'm going to select that one, and then we would press enter again to execute it. So looking at our calculator, if I cover up this part, we should notice that we see the identity matrix. So we need to see this exact thing in order to do our next step, in order to make a conclusion about our answer. So if we don't see it, so if we don't see this exact matrix, we are either going to have a no solution or an infinitely many solution answer. But if we do see it, then these numbers is the point where all of those planes are intersecting. So our x value is -2, our y value is -3, and then our z value is +3. So looking at this way, we're interpreting our matrix. This means that x, so 1x equals -2, 1y equals -3, and 1z equals +3. And again, on our paper, if we're doing this, we're going to write our answer as an ordered triple. So -2, -3, +3. And that would be our solution to this system. So again, these planes are going to intersect at this point. All right, let's do one more for practice. So again, if you do not have this part written down, please pause the video to write it down. And then we're going to enter in that information into our calculator. Okay, so again, to start with, I'm just going to clear everything. So I'm going to press the clear button. Back to our matrix screen. So second inverse key. And we're going to edit again. So enter. So again, our dimensions are going to be 3 by 4, so 3 enter, 4 enter. And then we're going to type in our new numbers. So -5, 3, 6, 4. And again, I'm pressing enter after each number. -3, 1, 5, -5, -4, 2, 1, and 13. So once we have it entered, we go back to the home screen, so second mode, and then back to the math menu in the matrix. So second inverse key, arrow over to math, and we're going to arrow down until we get to RREF, and then enter to select. And then again back to our matrix screen, so second inverse key, and then we're going to select the matrix that we just edited, and then we're going to press enter. Okay. So again, looking at this, we see our identity matrix, and then that means that these numbers, that's our point of intersection. So on your paper, we're going to write that as our solution. Okay, so it's going to look like this as that order triple. So again, it means that these three lines, so planes, are intersecting at this point. And we can also do that for smaller matrices. So again, if you have not written these down, please pause the video to copy those down. And now we're going to find the solutions to those matrices. Okay. So again, on our calculator, we're just going to press clear. And then to our matrix screen, so second inverse key. And then we're going to arrow over to edit. This time we have a 2 by 3 matrix. So 2 by 3. And we're just going to enter in our numbers. So 4, 1, -14, -5, -5, and 25. So again, make sure for the negative numbers that you're using the negative key and not the minus key. Okay. So now we're going to quit, go back to our home screen, and then back to the matrix screen under math. And again, so this time I'm going to do a shortcut. I'm going to arrow up. And again, we want letter B, so the RREF. So enter, and then again back to our matrix screen one more time to select the matrix. Okay, so again I'm looking, so there's my identity matrix. So then my -3, 2, that's the point of intersection. So we would just write that down. So our intersection point is -3, -2. And that would be our answer, our solution to that problem. All right, one more. So again, I'm going to clear what's there to the matrix screen. So second matrix, edit. We have a 2 by 3 again. And then we're just going to update our numbers. So 6, 1, -2, 5, 6, and 2. And then we quit to go back to the home screen. Now if you forget that step, you are going to get an error message. So make sure you are going back to your home screen. And then to our matrix screen, over to our math menu in the matrix. And then I'm going to arrow up this time to RREF, enter, and then now we have to go find our matrix that we edited, and then enter to execute. Okay, so this one I got some messy decimals. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go back in and check to make sure I entered in my numbers correctly. So I'm going to go to my matrix menu, and then edit, and just double check my numbers. So 6, 5, 1, 6, -2, oops, and it should have been a -2. Okay. So I'm just going to arrow so that I can fix that, so that should really be a -2. So I'm going to retry it to see if I get some nicer numbers. Okay. So if I just hit second enter, it'll copy this previous operation, so I don't have to go back in and do all the steps, and then I can just press enter again. Okay, so I still have decimals, but it was good that we went back in and checked. So if this does happen, we are able to change these to be a fraction. So to do that, we're going to press the math key, and then that one stands for fraction. So enter, and then enter again. And then these would be my answers. So the solution to that system is -10/31 and -2/31. So if we had to do that by hand, that would have been a little bit more difficult. And that is going to conclude how we solve a system of equations using augmented matrices.